Thanks for the introduction. First of all, I have to say I agree with Robert, so I support the ESG Finance Wing t-shirt campaign. And going back to this presentation, social media analysis, I like to align this presentation in context of Tim's presentation about the internet and how it may change things in respect to transparency, and also Danny's presentation about text mining and how important machine learning and pattern recognition might be for the future of the finance business. So let me introduce myself. I'm coming from the University of Kaiserslautern, Germany, and I'm also affiliated with the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. And my research profile is information retrieval, pattern recognition, machine learning, and social media analysis. So that's the geeky part, right? So I also have to apologize if I go too much into details from the technical point of view and maybe not having that knowledge in that business area. So the first question to you is, what happens on the internet every 60 seconds? And this is quite much. So you see this beautiful graphic, so it happens a lot. We have a lot of videos being uploaded to the internet, a lot of applications being uploaded to the iPod, to the iTunes store. You have a lot of calls being done, tweets being tweeted, people creating accounts with LinkedIn, pictures uploaded, blogs written, comments on Facebook done, search queries done. So there's a lot of information covered nowadays on the internet that is available. So the first question is, how did we came to this point? And this is a brief introduction of the evolution of the World Wide Web. With the first thing that happens was the Web 1.0, which is in the 90s starting, where we had like static websites, right? So we had a whole of information, people could look for it, and this was a very large unstructured repository, and there was the need for efficient retrieval tools. So that gave the rise to search engines, serving 2 billion people nowadays, millions of registered unique domains, and trillions of linked websites. And looking for Google, which is the most successful search engine, and its algorithm called PageRank, you can say that this is a very brief, high-level description of it. PageRank relies on the democratic nature of the way by using its vast link structure as an indicator of page values. So this is how PageRank is working. But what we really see here, we have already in this very first version of the internet, if you like, somehow social signals being involved, because people link to other websites, and this is their personal decision. So this is the first social signal. What happens then was that we had the glimpse of social. There was in the beginning of 2000 where we introduced something, or where the web introduced something like Web 2.0, which was a very good marketing gig for marketing gag for venture capital people, because you could raise a lot of money for companies like YouTube and Blogger. And that was the first time where people were able to participate in this web. So here with only reading the internet, and here you could really participate, creating accounts and being able to generate content, to upload it to YouTube, to write something. And things like tagging appeared, things like folksonomies appeared, wisdom of the crowd and crowdsourcing, which was pretty interesting and even created more content for the internet. And then something happened. This is a video on YouTube from Samsung Galaxy, so from Samsung about the Samsung Galaxy, and at the end of the video you see that link. So what happens is that Samsung is not referring to its corporate website anymore, it's referring for this particular product to Facebook and to the fan page of those products, or of its product. So what happens was, there was the next step in the evolution of the web, which I like not to call Web 3.0, would be too easy, not semantic web. I have to agree, I'm not a fan of semantic web. I like to call it social media because this is real. And so what happens is, because we had so many different profiles on the internet, now the profile is really important. So the profile is moving, or my personal profile is moving over the web, and is more important than the content for the first time. So what is social media and how might it look like? So what you do on social media is you share, you like, you check in, you recommend, and you review all the content that you like. So those are not websites anymore that are linked together, but they are profiles, and you see it's a very, very interconnected space of people interacting with each other. And this is pretty interesting because you have this so-called social awareness streams. So what does it mean? A social awareness stream is characterized by a passive consumption of streams. That means you're not going to Google and looking for something. You're sitting there and you know, all the streams of information are coming and you're consuming. You have this public but very personalized nature of those messages. You have the content being posted with multiple types of media, so text, audio, and video, etc. And you have this very, very highly connected social space, which gives you the opportunity of asking, what are my friends doing? What are my friends thinking about this brand, etc. And those companies are like the winners of the social web, and companies who really utilize this kind of communication means. So the impact was the people started to connect to brands. They really connected on Facebook to fan pages, to channels on YouTube subscribing, and they really wanted to, you know, give their opinion to the internet about those brands. So this is the 36% of people really said something about the brand. And this is really important because it's changed the way how brands look at themselves. Now companies behave like people and they're connected to people. So you have one centralized voice talking to a customer base, which is really interesting. And this also changed the way how we can look at social media. And I like to say that social media is the mirror of a society. People saying something about all the things they care, and it's written down, it's stored on the internet, and we can read this and interpret it in a way that is interesting, for example, for the financial business. So this is one slide about Google. So Google was the winner of the Web 1.0, and Google did not foresee social, and Google wasn't really participating in social, was kind of slow in social, and is really bad in social. This is like my opinion. And but at least there was one presentation from Paul Adams, who is the user experience member of the member of the user experience team at Google, and he gave a presentation about Google+, their social network. And this is a slide I took one by one to this presentation, and this is what he says. He says the social web is not going away. Right? This is the next step. And we had a very interesting discussion last night at the pub about the maturity of social web and if it's just a trend being there and it's going away. I don't think it's a trend. I think it's the next logical step on the internet. So this is what Google is thinking about it. And if we now go to Facebook, which is one of the winners, and Mark Zuckerberg especially, of the social web, what does he think about Facebook and the social web or social media? And this is what he said at Harvard. He said the first 5 years of Facebook were about connecting people, right? But the next 5 years will be about changing industries. Unfortunately, he did not mention how and which industries, but this is up to us, right? And this is one slide I added. I had a similar presentation on Friday, a little bit more in depth, and we're having a discussion about if companies already participate and use this kind of information to be kind of preemptive, proactive, changing the way how they communicate to customers. And on Friday, actually, it happened that Apple announced a press release, and they said there was this incident that Apple refused to be a member of this EPID certificate for recycling their hardware, which is a green certificate, and a lot of people said, oh, I don't want to buy Apple anymore, this is really bad. So even the city of San Francisco said, we don't buy any Apple anymore, so Apple was forced, or Apple decided preemptively the next day to say, oh, well, sorry, it was a mistake, we did not mean it like this, and we're going back and we're going to sign that, we're going to be green because it's good and everything is fine. So this is a very nice example that, you know, you don't give time people to start a kind of, you know, rolling and spreading it and really thinking bad about the company. You can have an idea that something is going wrong and you can react on this and try to not damage your brand anymore or even worse. So this is some examples about the social web and social media. And the next part is about trending topic discovery. And I like to refer to James, who quoted the Wall Street original movie saying, tell me something new, it's my birthday, surprise me. And I'm not sure who has birthday here, but this is my attempt to surprise you at least a little bit, right? So I like to answer the question, what is the world talking about? And what we were wondering is about, okay, what is the world talking about? And our assumption is that social media can offer incredible insights in what the world is talking about and how people feel about brands, events, and products, and resulting in a collective awareness of trending topics. And with trending topics, we mean topics that are associated with a subject, for example, iPhone, that are associated with a period over time, and they might also be associated with a location. So this is our definition of a trending topic. And here we have to distinguish between short-term versus long-term. And for our case, short-term is the hourly Twitter feeds, which are very, very diverse, talking about I had breakfast and it was good and going to bed. So this is not what we want to do. And we also don't want to go for the very, very, very 50-year future. So we are, in our definition, trending topics are something in between. And we like to answer that question. And how we are doing this? We're crawling on a daily basis 10 different information sources, capturing communication needs of people, capturing search pattern, and capturing information needs. So this is pretty, or information demand. This is pretty interesting. So we have those sources, Google searches, Twitter, and Wikipedia. And Jörn will say a little bit more about Wikipedia. And this is pretty interesting because along that different sources, you already can have a look about how a trend is having a life cycle. It appears on Twitter, it's moving on to Google because people search for it, and then if they're really interested in it, they click on that button and read the Wikipedia article, which takes time and shows a really information demand. So this is the way how the raw data is looking like. So we call the data for those sources, and you see you have a lot of nonsense, right? Or for the people, maybe not nonsense for our point of view. So give me all you love, good night. We have a lot of entertainment things like very important, Justin Bieber's baby, right? It was a big thing. And you see already the troubles here. So you have Justin Bieber, you have Justin Bieber's baby, you have a topic Justin Bieber. So those are strings, right? And the strings have no meaning from a computer. So Apple can be the fruit or can be the company. So this data is very noisy and needs post-processing to make sense of it. So the challenges are different spellings. Yulia Tymoshenko can be written like in two different ways. Paraphrasing like Super Bowl 2012, Super Bowl X, I, V, or whatsoever. So what we did, we first created, and this is a little bit techy, we were taking those strings and creating some unification and mapping those strings to Wikipedia URIs. So this is like the only semantic web part here. Because Steve Jobs is a string, and mapping it to a Wikipedia URI really tells us this is this semantic person being the CEO of Apple. And now we have like a primary key in our database, and we can identify it uniquely. Then we're going and performing a clustering. So we used a Levenstein distance, which is the distance between two strings. So how many times you have to flip a character in the word Sunday to create the word Saturday. And indeed, you have to change 3 letters to create one word to the other. So this is a metric that we created. And now for all of those words, we have metrics. And we can put it in an n-dimensional space to a k-nearest neighbor clustering. And then we have those clusters. And after that, taking every cluster over all the sources, aggregating it, we get the trend score. And this is actually this. So for Wednesday, the 12th of October, we had those clusters that our system was doing automatically. And you also see here the different ways of Yulia Tymoshenko. And we aggregated those clusters according to some, it's called border count, so which position they had in their trends. And we created this kind of graph showing the top 20 trends for this day. So obviously it was Steve Jobs. So what you see here, the blue bar shows you the trendiness, so the trend score. The pink bar shows you the amount of sources covering it. It's also visible here. And we rank according to the blue bar. And you can see it's Steve Jobs, then it was iPhone 4S, Republican debate, Apple, Happy National Coming Out Day, Occupy Wall Street, etc. And you have a rank for every day. And now going one step further and looking for all the different days, we can aggregate this over time and have a nice graph as a time series. So we had the data set about from September 2011 till March 2012. And we analyzed 200,000 items. And we discovered 1,300 something trending topics. And this is my question to you. What do you think was the #1 topic? So the people who were on Friday here, please don't answer because you already know. So what was the #1 topic in this period of time? It's not about what is important. It's just about what people, what's interesting, what people want to talk about, exchange, etc. So what do you think? Just guessing.
Is it ESG finance?
Yeah, that was, unfortunately, that was April. Yeah, Justin Bieber is a good point. Was also there, but yeah, just resolve this. So these are the top 20 topics, trending topics over that time. So you see that we will go a little bit in more detail, so don't try to read this. So the first observation is really nice because we have 1,300 trending topics. So my concern was when I started this, that we will have clusters of topics like Christmas. Everything will be on Christmas, and then we will have gaps. But as you see, you have in every moment in time, you have some topics being on the top 20 topics, right? So there's always something that people care about and talk about. So going into a little bit, so this is Whitney Houston. It was Whitney Houston. So that are the top 10 topics. The number one topic was the death of Whitney Houston. Yeah, so that was the topic. Then it was Costa Concordia, the ship that crashed. Then Black Friday deals, and in the first moment I did not know what is Black Friday, but then I Googled it, and it was, yeah, I'm a self-reference IT guy. So this is after Thanksgiving, it's the crazy Friday where you could get all these deals. And people were really crazy about it. And you see also Christmas, Steve Jobs, Super Bowl. And you see for some topics you have like several appearances over time, like Super Bowl, because there are several games. Or Academy Awards, you have I guess it was the Academy Awards ceremony, and that was the nomination. Battlefield is pretty interesting. It's a computer game, so you say, what people care about computer games. But this computer game, the previous version sold like billions, made billions of dollars, right? So if they release a new version, they really care about other people talking about it because that's like a $3 billion business. Actually, Battlefield spent or created more money on the first weekend than, you know, Avatar or the Avengers. And Joe Paterno, and that are the last topics. We have some political topics, Gaddafi, iOS, Santa Tracker, Happy New Year, Occupy Wall Street, very interesting, Facebook, Thanksgiving, etc. So those are only the top 20. And the next question that they ask, and this is also related because we're doing this study with Google and YouTube. So is there a correlation between a trending topic and people uploading videos to YouTube? And this is pretty interesting for Google because they want to know, is there something that we should, for example, create a concept detector that we can identify the content? Or can we maybe do something with our auction system, selling ads now more expensively before the trend is there? So we really identified a correlation with people uploading videos. And the funny part, or the interesting part was, it had a delay of 2 days. So you had this trend going on, and then 2 days later, people started to upload content. And those 2 days were pretty interesting for Google because they could react before the top or before on YouTube, the thing happened. So looking at the top 100 of those trending topics, and we manually classified in different categories because we wanted to know, okay, it's interesting for Google, but what other topics are interesting, or what other things are inside there and might be interesting. So we have a lot of entertainment things, sports, holidays, but we also have a lot of business-related things. You have, for example, Facebook is over Google+. You have that information, for example, that Windows is below iOS. You have something like, the iPad and all the products from Apple that are ranked higher than all the other, Amazon products like Kindle Fire, or Android products like Samsung Galaxy. And you have also a lot of political things, like Gaddafi was a big thing, and Jörn will say something about this in his presentation. Occupy Wall Street is very interesting. It's a big topic. So we can say, for example, for ESG, that Occupy Wall Street is now more important than maybe compared to environmental themes, because people care about this in this very moment more. So you can draw some very interesting information out of only the top 100, right? We're not talking about the rest of thousands of topics. And asking like what kind of applications we can use for this. So we have, of course, concept detection. That was the first initial idea, trying to select concept vocabularies and evolving concept vocabularies for YouTube. But looking further, you can see also these applications. So front page story selection. And this, we talked about journalism in the age of the internet. So knowing that there is a topic, I might place it on the front page to get more clicks, right? And knowing that this topic is going on and not dying, I might decide to trigger an in-depth coverage of this because it's still living. So I have to feed that kind of news stream. You can use it as an alternative to key auction systems or trigger it as a prior information. You can observe product releases. How is my new product going on? I spend a lot of money, like a company spending a lot of money and going viral, and then I recognize nobody's talking about this. So my decision or my question is, should I put more money into it, or should I replace the person who is doing the campaign? And you can also do brand monitoring, which is really important, and this is actually the thing that is already done with respect to social media. All those companies, they have like a dashboard telling them, oh well, there is a video on YouTube being uploaded talking about this. So they watch that every day and can decide, okay, everything is fine, or do we have some people, being angry about our products because in that, company in China or in Germany something happened that I in my headquarters in US don't know, and I should react, like an immediate feedback channel from the people. So all those applications, and this also concludes my talk. I'd like to summarize. We're talking about the evolution of World Wide Web, and social media being the next logical step into it, not just a trend. We talked about trending topics, so a first idea of how we can use this information to get insights from all this data. And we will have a talk about Wikipedia later. I also have to acknowledge our partners, so the McKinsey Business Technology Award, Google Research Award, and PyCloud Academic Research Program, where we got funded. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?